Hey, I'm Jacob, and today I'm going to give you a really quick overview of how banks and fintechs can stop APP fraud. Really exciting stuff. So, before we jump into solutions and how we stop this, let's just think about. Oh, let me just move myself out of the way. That's better. The criminal process can be broken down into 6 stages that start with an idea that might come from their network, or it could be based on a new vulnerability that they've noticed. With an idea in their heads, they will plan who they're going to target and exactly how they're going to sort of execute this idea. So maybe they're going to use like a romance scam, an investment scam, something else like. And that's when, once they've got all that together, the victims come in. So the real work sort of starts. That's phase three, the contact phase. They opt for channels like social media, WhatsApp, email, phone calls. And once the criminal has reached out, established contact, and built trust, they focus on convincing the victim to transfer the money. Typically, it's bank accounts that are targeted at this stage, with other types of financial institution coming into play later on in the process, but more on that later. So the victim has been scammed, and then the criminal needs to launder the money so it can't be traced. Stage five. Laundering or cleaning the money involves using tactics like splitting it up into smaller amounts, moving it through various different accounts, which are known as money mule accounts. So a money mule is working for the criminal. Sometimes they know what they're doing, they know this is illegal, but often they don't. They're paid a fee for letting the criminal use their account, transfer money in and out to legitimize what they're doing. And money mule accounts are usually held at like neobanks, fintech companies, and crypto firms, but they can be held at more traditional banks as well. Once the money has been sufficiently laundered, down in the bottom right of the slides, the stolen money can be taken out of the banking system as physical cash. So now we understand what the criminals are up to. Let's look at the solution. So Salv Bridge focuses on the later steps in the criminal process. The idea behind it is that if we can act as soon as the victim tries to transfer money to a criminal, we can stop the money from being laundered and we can stop the criminals from exiting with the cash. Salv Bridge gives you a way to follow suspicious transactions in order to stop financial crime. Now, at the point where the victim gets scammed, let's say their bank's fraud detection system flags it because of the amount, the location, like a login attempt, or the fact it's going to a new payee. Because the victim has been manipulated by the criminal, even when the bank intervenes, the victim may be happy to proceed anyway. Remember that the victim thinks they are helping someone in need, a loved one, buying their dream car, or about to get rich quick. So the victim, the account holder, will happily authorize the payment despite warnings often. So it's really the social engineering element is what makes APP fraud so effective. The victim's been scammed and the funds have been transferred to a money mule account. And as mentioned, these are held at a range of different financial institutions. Criminals use multiple accounts to move funds across borders, in and out of different types of company, and legitimize, clean up what the funds that they've stolen. Eventually, once the criminal feels the money's been sufficiently laundered, they will have a channel in mind to use as an out, like an e-wallet or a crypto wallet, something like that. Salv Bridge comes into play when fraud is suspected. Current processes are impractical because even if a FinCrime team suspects that their customer is being scammed, they don't have a channel to inform the receiving bank's FinCrime team about the fraud in real time as the suspicions, like as this thing's unfolding. And that's what Salv Bridge solves. It gives FinCrime teams a real-time channel to exchange intelligence when fraud is suspected much earlier in the process. So by working together, which we call a collaborative investigation, both FinCrime teams at either end of the transaction can follow the money and potentially freeze the account to stop the funds from moving any further. Boom. If the FinCrime team at the sending bank can't stop the transaction because the customer has authorized it, then the receiving bank or fintech can actually stop the transaction from going through. And once it is confirmed that a scam has taken place, like let's say the criminal and the victim like get off the phone, and the victim thinks, actually, that sounds a bit weird, I should give my bank a call. They realize what's happened. Once it's a confirmed case, all institutions involved can protect their customers, freeze and recover stolen funds, and effectively stop criminals in their tracks, which is super exciting. Through the collaborative investigations that Salv Bridge facilitates, financial institutions are also finding a lot more victim accounts that are associated. So they're exposing like that larger network of financial crime in the process. So to recap, Salv Bridge enables real-time intelligence exchange. So when fraud is suspected, FinCrime teams can follow stolen money and action can be taken swiftly. By doing this before the fraud is confirmed, the money is still in the financial system and therefore it can be returned. To wrap up, I'll leave you with a couple of really interesting stats. So the average true positive rate of alerts sent through Salv Bridge is 90%, which gives you an idea of how effective suspicion-based collaboration works. And finally, companies using Salv Bridge have raised their fraud recovery rates to 80%, which is way higher than the industry average of 5%, so a huge step forward. If you'd like to join the network and stop APP fraud, then please scan the QR code and join the next cohort. Thank you very much.